So you're still in Florida. You're at your
Yeah.
mom's now, but I
Right.
saw that you suffered an injury.
Yeah.
And see, you're holding it up there.
Yeah.
What did you stabbed yourself?
Yeah, I accidentally stabbed myself. I was actually trying to cut. You know how everything you buy these days is shrink wrapped, like to the
Yeah.
gills, right?
Yeah.
There's plastic everywhere, whether it's the hard plastic that's really tough to get off, you have to cut it out, or if it's the really tight shrink wrap. Well, this thing, I went out to Lowe's and got something for my mom, and her house broke, and I, went out the next day to go get a new one. So I'm trying to get all the wrapping off of it. And, I'm getting frustrated, and I'm just, grab this knife, and I'm just going to try to, get a sliver started so I could pull it open with my hand. Well, the knife slipped and went forward into my left hand, which was holding the actual item. And it went right into sort of the palm of my hand, the pad underneath my thumb.
Oh,
Oh yeah. And it opened up about an inch and a half, long gash, and the thing started bleeding like crazy. So immediately, I'm thinking, well, I just ruined the trip. I can't golf, for 2 weeks. I'm done. And I'm holding these alcohol pads and stuff. My mom poured hydrogen peroxide right on it. And then I stuck a couple of alcohol pads on. I'm trying to get the bleeding to stop. And it took a couple of minutes, and it kind of coagulated a little bit. And then we decided I better go to the hospital and get this, patched up properly so it heals properly and I don't have any issues with it. But we sat down and I ate breakfast first. So here I am eating the homemade pancakes that my mom made, and the sausage and the bacon and everything. And I'm holding my hand up, making sure that the blood doesn't start running down my arm. It happened right here where I'm doing the podcast, actually in the kitchen. So then after breakfast, the wife ran me up to the hospital, and I went in the emergency room and actually had a pleasant emergency room experience at Oak Hill Hospital, right here in Spring Hill, Brooksville area. And I was in and out of there in an hour, Jason.
What?
Yes. Checked in fully, the whole deal, got looked at, had to go back out in the waiting room for maybe 15 minutes. And they called me right back in and patched it up and wrapped it up. And I was out of there in less than an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
That you may have to call the people at Guinness.
Efficiency.
That may be a record.
Yeah, it really was. The most efficient emergency room experience of my life.
It's one of the reasons why you're always hesitant to go to the emergency room. You're like, geez, this is worse than buying a car.
Oh yeah. I've spent actually, like 12, 13 hours in a waiting room in an emergency room just before I was seen one time.
Yeah.
So it can be a disaster. But it wasn't.
The emergency room kind of defies the logic of emergency.
Yes. Right. Emergency in air quotes. They should put air quotes outside on the lit up sign, right?
Just because we call it the emergency room doesn't mean anything's going to happen like it's an emergency.
Right. Just because you think it's an emergency doesn't mean we think so.
Yes.
That's basically it.